Okay, welcome everybody. I'm calling the April 22nd, 2025 Beaverton Urban Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Duggar,
I'm here.
Hartmeyer Prigg. No.
Excused.
Hassan. I'm sorry, she's excused.
She's
Thank you.
excused.
Board Member Hassan.
Here.
Kimmy. Not yet. Okay. Chair Teeter.
Oh, Edward, Board Member Kimmy.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Chair Teeter.
Here.
And Board Member Tivnon.
Here.
Beatty.
Here.
Hanning.
Here.
Nye.
Here.
Walton. Okay, here. Lear.
Here.
Thank you.
Great, thank you everybody. The first item on our agenda is visitor comments. Visitor comments allow visitors to speak to the Bureau Board about matters that are not included on tonight's agenda. So recorder, do we have anyone here to address the Bureau Board tonight?
No, Chair Teeter, we have neither anyone in person or online.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along to board communications. Do any board members have any information that they would like to share with the rest of the board or the executive director tonight? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. So we will move forward again. Let's go on forward to the consent agenda portion of the agenda. So there are 3 sets of Bureau meetings for our consideration tonight: October 22nd, November 12th, 2024, and January 28th, 2025. 1 contract review board item and 3 consent items. So I understand that there may be a conflict of interest on Bureau Bill 25 or 2025-10. So we will first vote on all of the consent agenda items except for Bureau Bill 2025-10. I will then ask for any disclosures of conflicts before we vote on Bureau Bill 2025-10. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for Bureau Bill 2025-10?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda except for Agenda Bill 2025-10.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll
Thank
second
you.
it.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Recorder, can you take the roll call?
Board Member Duggar.
Yes.
Hassan.
Yes.
Kimmy.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
Tivnon.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes.
Hanning.
Yes.
Nye.
Yes.
Walton.
Board Member Walton, we didn't hear you.
Walton.
Thumbs up, but no
Thumbs
audio.
up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Her audio's not working. Okay, Lear.
Yeah, not yet.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. Before we vote on Bureau Bill 2025-10, I'd like to ask if any board members have any conflicts of interest to declare.
I have a conflict of interest to declare. I'm a condo owner with rights in a parking garage, so I believe a conflict applies.
Great. And will you be recusing yourself from the vote?
I will recuse myself from the vote, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Board Member Nye. Okay. Any other conflicts of interest people would like to share? Okay, I see none. So do I have a motion for Bureau Bill 2025-10
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Okay. Recorder, can you call the roll?
Councilor, Board Member Duggar.
Yes.
Hassan.
Yes.
Kimmy.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
I have Tivnon as abstaining. Beatty.
Yes.
I'm not abstaining.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Board Member Nye is abstaining.
Oh, Board Member Nye. Sorry,
sorry.
I can't see the screen and look down and take the roll too.
Your grace.
Tivnon?
Yes.
Okay. Hanning?
Yes.
Thank you. Nyes abstain. Walton?
Yes.
Lear?
Okay, got you.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Well, let's move along to the business portion of our agenda. We have only one business item for tonight. Our business item tonight is Bureau Bill 2025-14. It's the Urban Renewal Advisory Committee, the URAC 2024 Advisory Report. URAC's 2024 Chair, Andy Ellen, is with us tonight and will provide us with a presentation on the annual URAC report. So hello, Andy, please welcome and thank you for your leadership on URAC last year. We know that you have a wide range of subjects that you'd like to, we'd like you to weigh in on. From the board, we appreciate your years and your colleagues' commitments for over the years. So thank you for all that you do. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Give me 1 second to find the right document. All right. Okay, can everyone see that? Excellent, thank you.
Looks good.
All right, I'm Andy Ellen. I was the chair of the Urban Renewal Advisory Committee for 2024. So we'll just walk you through kind of a quick summary of everything we discussed and deliberated upon this past year. We kicked off in February. As January, we were up against New Year's Day. So we started with kind of the housekeeping items for the year. Election of URAC officers, including myself and Vice Chair Jerome. Did a refresher for older members of our group on Bureau and an introduction for newer members on our group, and set out to prioritize topics for our meetings for the year ahead and what we deemed that we most wanted to work on. We skipped a March meeting as we were up against the state of the city that same night and reconvened in April. Janine on our committee spoke to everyone about the Bureau 5-year plan, focusing on strategic priorities, including capital infrastructure, strategic inventory and redevelopment, placemaking, and identity support. And then Dan and Jean joined us to give us an update on the Milliken Way project. For the rest of the meeting, we recapped the project goals and reviewed the staff recommended plan at that point in time. Next in May, Javier joined us to talk about the Bureau redevelopment strategy, specifically focusing on Lombard West. And for the rest of the meeting, Mike joined us to speak about economic development, specifically the West 5 district. And we wrapped that up with some housekeeping items. I was not available to go to June, but we did a downtown themed meeting with 3 different speakers. Started with Kyle Todd from the Beaverton Downtown Association. He provided a number of updates, including that there were 140 plus businesses now in the BDA, and talked about all the support the Dining Commons has given businesses in the downtown core. Next on downtown was Mike coming back to talk about the downtown retail and equity strategy implementation. Beaverton provided pandemic assistance to a very diverse 550 storefront businesses. Over half of the storefront businesses in downtown are women-owned, and at that point in time had a very low, very impressive 2.4% vacancy rate downtown. Last on downtown night was Casey and Molly joining us to talk about the parking compliance program. They gave us an overview of the program as a whole, let us know that they have been averaging about 14 warnings per day and about half of that amount in citations, and then talked about next steps for the parking program. In August, and that photo was not taken in August, Megan Bronston joined us to talk about the building improvement program, giving a number of updates, recapped the program history, gave an overview of it, talked about how it tied into 3 other initiatives, including the downtown equity strategy, the climate action plan, and the downtown design project. Also in August, again, photo not from August, Javier joined us to talk about affordable housing. In 20 years, he mentioned Beaverton will have 19,000 more people. Rents have nearly doubled since 2010. Median home prices are now 518,000. And we also spoke about gentrification, displacement, and homelessness in Beaverton. We skipped September because of Labor Day, and then in October, Laura Becker gave a really nice overview of Beaverton's arts program, asking us 3 questions up front. What one thing defines Beaverton? What city projects would we like to see? And what has changed perception of Beaverton for the better? The rest of the meeting was rounded out by Tyler and Jennifer, speaking of their experience at the ULI conference, which addressed a number of issues facing Northwest cities, including one in particular, affordable housing challenges, and how it is hard to recruit because of those challenges. In November, we had a really fun night. We like to do a walking tour at least once a year, and this year focused on Cedar Hills Crossing. Seth Garay from C.E. John spoke to us and toured us through that project. Excuse me 1 second. He started back on the history of the area, going back to Bernard Airport, talked about the need for malls to be viewed as a living, breathing space. You know, they know that a tenant will come in inevitably, you know, leave the mall a few years later for one reason or another, and those spaces need to be very flexible to allow for other businesses to come in and out of the mall. Talked about their very interesting local and national recruitment strategy and some challenges marketing the original interior space that dates back to the Beaverton Mall days. And we finished off with ice cream and salt and straw. And we wrapped up the year in December. Nick from Tiberius Solutions spoke about the program income policy. We reviewed the program as a whole. He went over the high level concepts draft, and then talked about next steps for that program. And we wrapped up continuing our Cedar Hills Crossing theme with a nice dinner from Postini. That was our year. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate that. We do have some time for some questions and comments from the board. If anybody has anything for Andy, do any board members have any comments or questions? Oh, Sarah, I see your hand going up.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
I just had a question. So I served on URAC for a number of years before joining Bureau, and one of the things that came up sort of when I was there was like wanting to connect the two more, and sort of like how is URAC connected more with Bureau? Is that still something that comes up? Is there anything that we can do as Bureau to be more connected with URAC outside of this annual meeting?
Yeah, no, I'm sure that came up a couple times throughout the year. Yeah, this is my first time attending a Bureau meeting, and I think the committee would really find that valuable if we could find those ways. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Board Member Walton. Board Member Tivnon.
Board Member Walton and I were like on the exact same wavelength there. I was looking at that and thinking, I wish I could hear your conversations. I wish I could hear the insight that you're gaining from all of the different areas that you're going out into the city, the people you're talking to. And I started thinking about like, I'm sure when Bureau was created and URAC was created, there was a much more symbiotic relationship intended for it, or maybe I just need to refresh my memory on how to get the most out of the insight that you're collectively getting. But I'm right there for asking for the same thing. I would love to see more opportunities to interact and just hear from URAC and also give you updates on what we're doing too, because I'm sure it would be helpful.
Yeah. No, we'd love for anybody to attend our meetings, and I'll bring this up with our current chair and vice chair too. I know we'd like to figure that out. That'd be great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Board Member Tivnon. Yeah, Andy, I'll just echo those couple comments. Over the past several years, I've heard similar comments from URAC members of just wanting to know how they can communicate more effectively with Bureau, and I'm open to learning more about that. I also think you all have an advantage of having a a more in-depth and closer relationship with a lot of city staff, where our meetings are much more structured and have to be a little bit more efficient just because of how much we're trying to squeeze into our agendas on short time frames.
Sure.
So if you all have ways that you'd like to be more connected or just share some of your insights along the way, I'm sure that would be helpful, and we'd love to learn more about that. But really appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, wait, you're not done yet. I
Oh,
see another
sorry.
name in the
Another
chat.
question. I can't see everybody.
Yeah, Board Member Lair. Almost missed you.
Okay, thank you, Andy. I appreciate
Yeah.
the great report. Just a thought to the subject everybody brought up. I know something, I mean, because Andy, when I was on URAC with you, this is something we discussed. How can URAC get a better sense of how their contributions are being incorporated? Something that staff had started to do for a while, I don't know if this is still happening, is when they came to URAC, got advice from the committee and then incorporated it, when they'd come back in the future, they would say, hey, this is specific feedback we got from you guys. I found that really helpful. And just thinking along those lines, that might be something that staff could do when presenting to Bureau, saying this is a change we made based on feedback that URAC gave us. I think that helps build that connection as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would completely agree. And I think we have done more of that this past year. And then, I believe Nick from our December meeting came back right away, I want to say in January or February, with an update on program income policy. So yeah, no, our group does find that very helpful, and to know where and how our feedback is, affecting everything else.
Here I am. Sorry, everybody. Thank you, Board Member Lair. I don't see any other names in the chat, so Andy, I think that's all we've got for you. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us tonight.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we are going to move right along to the Executive Director's Report. Andy, do you have any items for us tonight?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it's a parade of Andys tonight. I'll be brief. Good evening, board members. A few items to go over. One, a very important one. The Bureau Budget Committee will be considering the FY26 budget on May 19th at 5 p.m. So I hope that's in everyone's calendars. The meeting will be virtual, of course. Packets will be sent out a week prior to the meeting. Please remember there are 22 Budget Committee members per state requirements. The City Budget Committee meeting starts after this meeting on the 19th, and that's scheduled for 6 p.m. On June 3rd, Bureau will be considering the Bureau Budget Committee recommendation, and we'll forward that along to Council for recommendation. The Traffic Committee, on May 1st, the parking team will be at the Traffic Commission requesting to consider a variety of on-street parking regulation changes on Broadway and Old Beaverton Hillsdale Highway that fronts Madera Beaverton. These changes are based on data evaluation, conversations with businesses, the new development opening, and just considering existing and future business changes along this area. The proposed changes will move towards assisting with parking demand, really for the customer demand that we are anticipating there in the future. Congratulations to Bureau. We received 6 very solid applications for the Lombard West redevelopment site, and just earlier today, the top proposers were interviewed by the evaluation committee, and the staff will be bringing you a recommendation for your consideration at the June meeting, June 24th. Staff had a robust outreach effort for the spring grant period for the building improvement program, and the application time frame ended last week. 30 applications have been received, so the BIP review committee has their work cut out for them to consider those applications. This would be in Andy's presentation next year, but at the URAC meeting earlier this month, Mill Creek was kind enough to provide us with a tour of their project located there on Broadway. Most of URAC was there, and a few other staff folks, and then I think 1 or 2 Bureau members as well were there. That's 312 units, mixed use, and they're finalizing the construction, and they've begun leasing up. The additional units with no Bureau subsidy are an excellent example of the hard work Bureau has been doing in leveraging its dollars downtown and urban rural area. They did use vertical housing development zone, the VHDZ tool for that, but no Bureau subsidy. And then finally, related to that, a couple weeks ago, the Public Art Committee approved a mural for the westerly side of the private parking garage at that development. Bird Call will be a collaboration with Portland Street Art Alliance. And so this work is privately funded. No public funding is used for that. I do have a picture of that if anyone wants to see, but other than that, that concludes my presentation, Chair Teeter.
Thank you, Andy. Board Member Hessen.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I had a quick question. You mentioned some grant opportunities, and I know a while back we had sort of discussed how we've given grants to businesses and maybe they've left, and there was sort of this very general, like, is there an opportunity for a policy and or something that sort of allows us, when we put dollars in businesses, to hopefully try to stay longer? And I don't know if that was something that was discussed or would need to formally come back, or if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, I may rely on Tyler to assist here because he's closer to the program. I know that staff did take some of the discussion points that the Bureau Board was the points we were making previously and taking that into consideration as we do waste and policy changes. And we have made some changes based on amounts and where the funding may go if someone's been a previous recipient and things of that nature. But Tyler, what would you add that would be helpful?
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Hassan. Good question. And I think the first question I have is was that for the building improvement program grants or other grants that the city might be having available to folks? As you know, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to know what's going on with an actual business and what their plans are, or maybe some of their challenges that they may be having. But one of the primary points of building improvement program grant is to add value to that particular space. And if some business does happen to leave, hopefully it's ready for another business to come in its place.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking of those grants, and I think just in the future, I'm not trying to limit folks from getting access to the funding. I just want to be thoughtful that if we give a building improvement grant and a business leaves in a year, like, how are we balancing needs? So I just want to make sure I don't let that conversation die.
Yeah, thank you for that. And some of the changes that we made in the last year and a half or so has a very equity perspective that has improved of those who are receiving grants. And I think that's something that we did talk about a couple of years ago, that we did make those changes.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Hessen. Board Member Duggar.
Yeah, Andy, a comment and a question. Number one, I would like to see the mural, if you can put that up. I think maybe others as well. But the question is, do we know, or can we possibly track how leasing is going at the Modera Beaverton property? And the reason I ask is obviously that's going to affect the timeline for when we think about developing the Broadway property that we own into housing. And I'd be curious to know, if they're really struggling leasing, then it may not be the right time for us to jump in to the market. I know building takes a couple years anyway, but lending happens and all that sort of stuff. So I'd be curious to know if we had any access to that information, or would they be willing to share some of that with us?
Yep, Board Member Duggar, we could certainly contemplate if they would share that with us. Now, we did, that question was posed more or less, what do they expect their lease-up strategy to be? And I didn't have anything to take notes in, but he did give us some broad outline of a unit count that they were expecting. It wasn't super aggressive to start with, because I think they're also in the same place, kind of wanting to see where the market goes there and calibrating their strategy there. But they did seem amenable to staying in touch with us, and especially as we consider parking changes and as the business kind of community develops along Broadway, I do think they would be open to staying in touch with us. And yeah, your point about Broadway East specifically, I think that's one of the reasons with that development opening there. It's one of the reasons we pivoted to Holland Center as the next piece of the portfolio. But yeah, let me put this up real quick so you can take a look, and then I'll be done with that.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so there's Bird Call. I think you should be able to see it. Yeah, it'll be colorful.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Board Member Duggar. Mayor Beatty?
Since I've recently turned 40, I have no qualms with birds, and I've heard it's quite important that 40-year-olds start seeing them everywhere in public. So I don't mind them on the side of the building. But I thought City Council was the final approval for art, not URAC. So are we approving this? We've approved other pieces, and why is it kind of coming this way?
I don't know if I call you mayor or board member Beatty here, but I believe it was the public arts subcommittee from the Beaverton Arts Commission that approved that. But again, I'll defer to Reed Tyler on that. But it was not URAC. It was not URAC.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's not URAC. It was the Public Arts Committee.
We've changed the policy that council is like that's not a decision-making board. So I'd like you to go back with the city manager and make sure we're doing this correctly, because none of those boards are designed to be decision-making boards without the council's final approval. And if we're going out to the public, it's pretty important that the council has some oversight of the art that's going up.
I'm trying to think back to like the other murals that have come through, and if council has seen those as well.
Tyler, if I can chime in really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mayor. If I interrupted you, finish your thought.
I don't think we've approved public art since this council has been in its composite. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. When I was with the Downtown Association back in 2020, 2021 or so, we got a few murals up on business walls in downtown. And I think Arts Commission was the reviewer team back then, but I don't know if the policies changed or if it was not done correctly back then. But Dan, I see your face popping up, so maybe you can clarify some things.
Yeah, I'm happy to come back with more information, and we can do that at a council meeting or bureau. But it's my understanding that it is actually the Arts Commission that would approve, in part because I think there was an intention of separating the sort of the politics of art, right? Like what is art, away from the I guess decision of placing something, and I think that was meant to be more broadly for public art. So I may be misinterpreting, hence my desire to come back with more information.
Yeah, I look forward to a more robust conversation, because we have that delineation with the PRCA over content, because that is a separate governing body, but like this council doesn't get to divorce itself of community stuff if they're angry in the same way we can to the PRCA. So let's do a future time. Something that, and again, it's not about the work. It's really great. It's just about future decision making.
Definitely.
Thank you, Dan. Board Member Husson?
I was just going to add, I am the liaison for the Arts Commission. I don't think that those bylaws or things have been updated. So I think Dan will let us know, but it is my understanding that they do that. Whether that's the right decision or not, I think is a bigger conversation, but I believe it's in some of their bylaws or code, but we'll let Dan get back to us.
Thank you, Board Member Husson. Andy, I've got one more question for you. It's about the Building Improvement Program grants. The Executive Director report said there were 12 applications in so far as of like a week ago, and now I think you said 30 applications that have been submitted. That seems like an incredibly high number. Is that dramatically higher than what's usual? And if so, like, did we do something different to get more applications, or what's changed?
Great question. Once again, I will defer to Tyler.
Yeah, it is. It's substantial. More numbers than we've seen before. There's been a lot of outreach that has been done by staff, going door to door, which is something that we've done in the past, but for some reason, the interest level is extremely high. There will be an initial review of those 30 applications just to see if they are deemed complete, using the planning terminology, and to see if they actually meet the minimum criteria for submittal. And then there is a subcommittee that actually does the review of the application. So pretty exciting. We have a new staff member. His name is David Snyder, who is running the program under Megan Bronston's watch. And super excited to be able to review up to 30 applications this round.
Great. Yeah, that is really exciting. Thank you, Tyler. Okay. I think that's all that we have for you, Andy. We do have an executive session, so we're going to be moving into executive session in accordance with ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Pursuant to ORS 192.6604, it is the Bureau Board's requirement that the items discussed may not be disclosed by media representatives or others. And we are not taking any other action after executive session, and so our next meeting is June 3rd, 2025. Bureau Budget Committee is on May 19th at 5 p.m. So good night to all who have been listening, and Bureau Board members, please find the link and your invite for the executive session. Thank you.